All right, the Biden administration and Democrats are taking aim at states that are taking the border crisis into their own hands, like the state of Texas, which has now employed the Texas National Guard to return illegal immigrants to the border.
Now, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is claiming that Texas officials were tricking asylum seekers into getting on buses bound for the nation's capital, initiated by Texas Governor Greg Abbott in mid-April. More than 150 buses traveling from Arizona and Texas have transported thousands of migrants to D.C. over the past 3 months. Take a listen to Mayor Bowser.
We have for sure called on the federal government to work across state lines to prevent people from really being tricked into getting on buses. We think they're largely asylum seekers who are going to final destinations that are not Washington, D.C.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is hitting back at that accusation, saying in a statement, Mayor Bowser should direct her frustration to her friends in the Biden administration for their complete and utter refusal to secure our border and enforce our immigration laws. The illegal immigrants who are coming to Washington, D.C. are doing so voluntarily, largely because of Muriel Bowser's own previous actions affirming Washington, D.C. as a sanctuary city. And Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton joins us right now. Sir, feel free to expand on your thoughts there.
Yeah, I think it's almost comical, but it's not, because it's really having such a tremendous negative impact on my state and many other states that she made this statement. Apparently, she has a sanctuary city, but she doesn't really want people coming there, and she claims that we're tricking them. We're not. And she wants them to stay in Texas. So she's open to illegal immigration. She's encouraged it along with the Biden administration. And when they actually show up in her state or in her district, she complains about it and says they should stay in Texas and we should deal with it. So it's just very hypocritical for her to be criticizing us when they show up in her district, she doesn't want them.
Yeah, it sounds very much like it's only her problem when they are in D.C. Beyond that, she kind of wants to ignore the problem. And as this is happening, Ken, meantime, DHS Secretary Mayorkas is claiming this. Take a listen.
The border is secure. The border, we are working to make the border more secure. That has been a historic challenge.
Ken Paxton, the border is secure. Your reaction?
He's lying. There's no way that the numbers back that up. He knows the numbers don't back it up. He's making this up. The border's not secure. It's as unsecure by the numbers. Just look at the numbers as it's ever been. And so he's literally just lying to the American public. And unfortunately for him, I think most Americans can actually read the numbers and see that he's not telling the truth. This is not a secure border. We have terrorism. We have cartels that have become dramatically powerful. And the Biden administration has encouraged the cartels to bring as many people as fast as possible to our country. And then they take the handoff from the cartels and they transport them along the way. And then in addition, of course, we have a massive drug problem now that's bigger than we've ever had. And that also has been created by the Biden administration in partnership with the cartels.
Want to get your reaction to something different. Left-wing billionaire George Soros has donated $1 million to the campaign of Beto O'Rourke, who is running for Texas governor, attempting to unseat Governor Abbott. Your thoughts on this?
Look, that should tell every Texan what they need to know about this election. You've got George Soros, one of the most left-wing progressives in the world, trying to control what's going on in Texas. And the last thing we need to have is that type of mentality in our state and that type of politics. We don't need Texas to turn into what George Soros wants. We need Texas to be Texas. And hopefully most Texans will catch on and we'll reelect Governor Abbott as our next governor.
Yeah, Ken, also, now that when you mention the word or mention the name Beto O'Rourke, what I immediately think of is his outburst immediately following the Uvalde school shooting. So I, just want to get your very quick reaction. We have one more question before we let you go, but just quickly your reaction, how Beto O'Rourke made a big scene. Are Texans really going to fall for the fact that he actually cares about what's going on in the state?
Yeah, I was there. He wasn't in the audience until right before he asked the question. They were holding a seat for him. It's completely political. And it was really inappropriate given what these people had gone through in the last, day or two. So, I thought it was embarrassing. He did it to get coverage, and apparently it worked because people are still talking about his actions.
Also, before we go, new bombshell report by the Media Research Center showing that big tech heavily engaged in conservative censorship and calling out the phenomenon of secondhand censorship, which is the number of times users on social media have information kept from them because somebody they follow is actually censored.
So confusing.
Yeah, the database showing that users were affected by secondhand censorship over 140 million times in the first quarter of 2022. And right near the top of the list of the most egregious examples of this is a guy named Ken Paxton.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Attorney General of Texas, as we understand it. In total, 532,800 followers were affected over multiple instances of secondhand censorship. What are your thoughts?
Look, I'm not surprised. I've got several lawsuits with big tech companies, Google, Facebook, Twitter were involved in an investigation of them. And so I'm very concerned about this. I think they are trying to redirect the political thoughts of the people of this country. And this is being demonstrated by what you just showed. It's true. And it's something that I think all Americans, we're a country that loves free speech. We were founded on free speech. And yet we have big companies with lots of money trying to stop free speech.